sisters and brothers. I am very happy to be with all of you this morning, and I'm grateful for this opportunity to share with you a little bit from my most recent book that you so kindly mentioned, The Way of the SANT. This book has 8 chapters, but today I would like to just focus on one of the chapters of this book, but some background first. So let me begin with a very simple question to each one of you. When you think about a truly good person, what comes to mind? Perhaps not somebody who is powerful, not somebody who is wealthy. A powerful person can also be good, a wealthy person can also be good. But what comes to your mind first if I asked you the question, who is a good person, who is a virtuous person? Perhaps you would think otherwise, not of power or wealth, but you might think someone who is kind, someone who is caring, someone who is generous, someone who seeks to comfort others in suffering. And so in our tradition, such a person is called a saint. A good person, a virtuous person is called a saint. Now, what is a saint, or who is a saint? This is the focus of my book. The word saint is very similar to saint in English, but they are very different. A saint in the Christian tradition, in the religion of Christianity, is someone who is selected by the church. There is a very detailed, formal process of investigation and inquiry and certification of miracles and so on before someone is called or has a right to be called a saint and then becomes an object of prayer. But a saint is different. The word saint comes from the Sanskrit sat, which means true or truth, or also means goodness. So a saint is a saint because the church has a formal process for electing somebody to become a saint. A saint is someone who is chosen by the community. It is after living in the midst of a community for a very long time that the community recognizes this person to be an exemplar of goodness and virtue, and then begins to speak of this person as a saint. I can't call myself a saint. A saint is never a self-given title. It's a title that the Hindu tradition gives to someone whom it recognizes exemplary goodness, someone who is full of compassion, full of love, full of humility. Such a person is called the saint. Very importantly for us also, a saint is not necessarily a renunciant, or as we would say in our tradition, a sannyasi. A householder can be a saint. A sannyasi can have the virtues of a saint, but merely being a renunciant or a sannyasi doesn't make one a saint. A ritual specialist, a pujari, a purohit can be a saint, but being a purohit doesn't make you a saint. Knowing how to perform rituals doesn't make you a saint. You could be, a purohit could be a saint, but a saint is not necessarily a ritual specialist. Being a scholar doesn't make you a saint. A scholar could be a saint. A learned person could be a saint, but being a learned person doesn't easily, always, immediately translate into being a saint. Most sons are people like us in our tradition. People living in families, people working in the world, people dealing with challenges. And this is why the Sant is a very attractive idea to me, because we are not renunciates. We live in families, we have professions, we work, and we deal with daily challenges. So this is why I wrote this book. It is not a book only for Hindus, but it is a book that seeks to answer a very simple question. How do I live a life of spirituality? How do I live a life of goodness while I am fully active and fully engaged in the world? So as I said, and the Sant is the answer to this question. So in this book, I take 8 virtues of the Sant, and I have one chapter on each of these virtues. So today I want to talk for a few minutes on my first chapter, which is called The Way of the Sandal Tree. The Way of the Sandal Tree. Those of you who know me and have heard me speak before, you know that this is one of my favorite examples. I just love it. It's such a powerful example that I continuously reflect on. I want to become like a sandal tree. I've taken it from the Rambachan because there's a very beautiful section in that book where Bharat asks Ram, who is the Sant? And Ram opened up his answer with the example of the sandal tree. And the example is very simple. He says that the Sant is like the sandal tree. Why? The axe cuts the sandal tree, but the axe comes back from that act of cutting, smelling fragrant. The Sant gives to the axe the beautiful fragrance that it has. The sandal tree gives to the axe its beautiful fragrance, even when it is cut by the axe. And he says, this is how a Sant is. So just think about this. The tree, the sandal tree is being cut, but it does not stop what it is, which is to give this beautiful fragrance that we use in our rituals, in our pujas. Tree is being cut, it doesn't stop what it is. Instead, it gives its fragrance even to the person who harms it, who hurts it. It doesn't cease to be what it is, which is a fragrant giving tree. So what is this example teaching us? Something very deep. And this is the point that I really want to emphasize as I've done in that first chapter. Hear me. Our goodness should not depend on how others treat us. Our goodness should not depend on how others treat us. Let me say that again. Our goodness should not depend on how others treat us. Because in life, as you know so well, some people will be kind to us and some will not. Some will appreciate us and others will denounce us. Some will hurt us and others will seek to lift us up. The question for us is, will we remain true to our values, or will we become like the axe? This is our choice. Will I be a sandal tree, or will I be an axe? So let me, relate this to some everyday examples that we all know and we've all experienced. Someone speaks to us harshly. Now we have a choice. Will we speak harshly, or will we be the sandal tree? Someone disrespects us. we have a choice. Will we become disrespectful? Or will our words be also full of respect? Someone expresses deep anger towards us. We have a choice. Their acts will become angry. The sandal tree will stay calm. So, can we remain like the sandalwood? Can we stay calm when others around us are not? Can we be kind even to those who are unkind to us? Can we speak gently when others speak harshly to us? This is not easy. I'm not saying in this book that the part of this, the way of the Sant is easy, but this is the part of the Sant. This is the part of the Sant. But let me make an important clarification, very important clarification. This teaching about the Sant, the way of the sandal tree, is not, putting a big not, N-O-T, capital uppercase letters, is not a teaching about weakness. It does not mean weakness. It does not mean that you have to accept injustice. It does not mean that you must allow harm when you see harm taking place. It does not mean that one has to remain silent in the face of wrong. And I say this very clearly. Injustice, wrong actions must always be resisted, must be challenged. But the Sant challenges it with truth, with love, with justice. So the Sant resists injustice, but does not hate. The Sant stands firm, but does so without cruelty. And I give examples to show that this is practical. I'm not saying it's not challenging, but we have examples of people who have done that. They have not received the name of Sant, but we have seen them, not only in ancient times, but in modern times. Mahatma Gandhi, and here in the United States, I would say Martin Luther King Jr. are good examples of Sant-like behavior, by which I mean resisting injustice but doing so without hate, standing firm but not being cruel. So they faced violence, they faced hatred, they faced injustice, but like the Sant, they never responded with hatred. In one of my chapters later on one of my future visits, because this is my plan to speak about one chapter each time. It would be nice if you could read it ahead of time so we can also have some discussion we can do together. One of the chapters I described is I use the phrase Sama Abhuta Ripu, one who is without enemies. The Sant may have enemies, but the Sant is without the enemy mentality. That is the difference. People may see themselves as an enemy towards you, but you don't have an enemy mentality. Sama Abhuta Ripu, one of the beautiful virtues of the Sant. So people like Gandhi, Martin Luther King Jr. and others experienced what I call violence, hatred, injustice, but they did not respond with hatred. This is what is called ahimsa. Ahimsa is not weakness, it is strength, as Gandhi always emphasized, but is standing up to injustice with love, without hate. It was strength. They showed us how you can resist injustice without losing your humanity. How you can resist wrongdoing without losing your humanity. This is the fragrance of the sandalwood tree. So, I think a key insight of what I want to say in this chapter is that when someone, we all have to deal with this in so many different ways, in our places of work, in our community. If someone behaves badly towards us and we respond by becoming angry, by becoming hateful, by becoming unjust, we do something interesting. We give that person power over us. Because now the person is in control. The person has provoked a response from us that the person wants. So when we respond to someone's anger, to someone's hate, to someone's injustice, with anger, hate, and injustice, we hand over power to them. We allow them to decide who we are, how we feel, how we act, how we become. We lose our freedom. We give it to them. The SANT refuses to do that. The SANT says, I will act always according to my values, not yours. I will be faithful to my values, not yours. The sandal tree. It is my nature to give fragrance, and you will have the power to take that from me. That's how we practice that. In our home, in our workplace, in our community. We practice by asking ourselves, can I respond with patience today when everyone around me seems to be impatient? Can I pause? And sometimes this is what it takes. A pause before responding. A pause. Can I pause before speaking? When someone speaks harshly. Because the natural impulse often is to speak in the same way. Pause. Take the breath of the SANT. And then you choose. You be in control. That's your freedom. That's our freedom. And most importantly, is to remember who we want to be. Who do I want to be today? Do I want to be an axe? Or do I want to be a sandwich? To be a SANT is to choose the way of the sandwich. So to conclude, let me return to this powerful image. And it's very simple to remember that. To be the sandwich. The tree does not lose its fragrance, even when it is cut. And in the same way, the SANT does not lose compassion when others are unkind. Does not give up on truth when others speak untruth. Does not stop loving when others hate. And so the question for all of us, in this chapter, in this book, is what kind of fragrance do we want to give in our homes, in our relationships, in our communities? Do we want to be remembered for anger, being an angry person, a resentful person, a hateful person, a divisive person? Or do we want to be remembered for the fragrance of Shanti, the fragrance of compassion, kindness, karuna, the fragrance of understanding, wisdom, jnana. We live in a world, dear brothers and sisters, I don't need to tell you, we live in a world where there are just too many access. Too many access. And we encounter these access every day. There are too few sandalwood trees. The world is full of access. We counter that by being like the sandalwood tree. And as I said, it's not that I'm giving you an easy teaching to practice. It's not. But the way of the Sant is not an easy way, but it's the way of truth. It is the way of goodness. It is the way of love. It is what we must truly become. We don't have to leave this world to become sons. Right here and now, in every relationship, I can be a daughter as a son. I can be a son. I can be a son as a daughter. I can be a son as a son. I can be a son as a husband. I can be a son as a wife. I can be a son as a teacher. Whatever my work in this world, let me do it. Let us do it with the fragrance of the sacrament, the fragrance of the Sant. So this is the first chapter that I've shared with you. And if you would like to, when I come next time, of course, schedule, I'll pick up another chapter. But it will announce to Julie and Nancy also what chapter I will do, so you can read ahead, and then perhaps I can talk less and then we can have more discussion.